Okay, Assalamualaikum, and my name is Siti Aishah binti Zaidi. The title of my TED Talk is Signs That You Are Having an Anxiety Disorder. Okay, before I start, I want to ask you, have you ever feel constantly worried about coming off as a stupid person or believing that everyone is silently judging you? You're always overthinking even about the smallest thing that exists. If you can relate to all the situations that I've mentioned, that means you are physically and mentally exhausted and also unwell. Mentally exhausted and unstable can be related to anxiety. What does anxiety mean? Anxiety is a normal reaction to stress and can be beneficial in some situations. Anxiety is a normal feelings of nervousness or anxiousness. For example, it is normal to feel nervous in certain situations like before taking a test or going to a job interview because all of that involve your important decision in your life. Okay, like I said, anxiety can be beneficial in some situations as anxiety can help us to alert to dangers, also help us prepare and pay attention. Yeah, that is the normal response of brain when it react to the stress that you are facing off. Ordinary anxiety comes and goes in our life. However, it does not interfere our daily life. Surely, and occasional anxiety is acceptable and bearable, but it is totally different when it comes to an anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder are worse because they are a group of mental illness that cause constant and overwhelming anxiety and fear. Okay, how does people with anxiety disorder feel? People with people with anxiety disorders frequently have intense, excessive, and persistent worry or fear about any situation. Often, anxiety disorders involve the sudden feelings of intense anxiety and fear that reach a peak within a minute, which also called as panic attack. Why anxiety disorders worse than the normal anxiety? It is because these anxious feelings and panic become bigger and begin to interfere with daily life, daily activities. And these disorders are also difficult to control and can happen so sudden and can last for a long time. The excessive anxiety can make you avoid your daily activities such as work, school, or any social activities that might trigger the anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorders can also become a lead to other mental health issues like suicide, insomnia, and depression. It can affect anyone at any age and they are the most common emotional disorder. Did you know? In United States, anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness. It affects almost 40 million adults in US at the age of 18 and older. These mental illness are highly treatable, yet only 36.9% of those who suffered this illness receive the treatment. There are several types of anxiety disorders that often occur, which are generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, or also called as social phobia, obsessive compulsion disorder (OCD), and post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). What do you think are the factors that lead to the anxiety disorder? Most researchers are not sure of the exact cause of anxiety disorder. It is likely a combination factors uh, like chemical imbalance, environmental factors, stress build up, trauma, and also heredity. The chemical imbalance occur because of severe or long-lasting stress that change the chemical balance or hormones that control your mood. Experiencing the long-lasting stress can be a factor of anxiety disorder. Besides, a person who endured any types of abuse and trauma or witnessed any traumatic event also at the higher risk to develop an anxiety disorder in his or her life. A build-up of smaller stressful life situation may trigger excessive anxiety like a death of family members or financial problem. All of this can be the combination factor that cause the anxiety disorder to develop in a person. Okay, here I'm going to speak about the main points of this talk, which are the signs of anxiety disorder. First, the most common symptom of an anxiety disorder is become excessive worrying. To be considered as a sign of generalized anxiety disorder, the worrying must occur on most days for at least 6 months, and it would be difficult to control the anxiousness. A person who suffered from an anxiety disorder would always be intrusively worried about daily matters, and it would cause the person to have some difficulty in concentrating or accomplishing his or her daily tasks. Following this, do you ever have a trouble to fall asleep or keep sleeping at night? Some might think that having problem to fall asleep is just a small matter. No, it is definitely a big no. It is because sleep disturbance are strongly associated with anxiety problems. National Institute of Health stated that having trouble falling asleep and keep waking up in the middle of the night are the most common reported problems. Insomnia is the most regular sleep problem that make you hard to sleep or make you wake up too early and not be able to get back to sleep. Insomnia is strongly linked to anxiety disorder. A study following nearly 1,000 children over 20 years old found that having insomnia in childhood was linked to a 60% increased risk of developing an anxiety disorder by age 26. The same situation happened to me since last year until now. I also have sleep problem. It is really hard for me to fall asleep and stay asleep at night. Even if I try to sleep early before 12 a.m., I would still wake up after 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And then I would not be able to get back to sleep until it reached Subuh prayer time. It is really exhausting since I need to join the online classes during the day. However, I'm not really sure whether insomnia that contribute to the anxiety or anxiety that contribute to the insomnia. The next symptom that may be a sign of anxiety disorder is panic attacks. Panic disorder is one of the most common anxiety disorder types. Panic disorder is associated with recurring panic attacks. Panic attack can be a sign of anxiety disorder because it can cause an intense and overwhelming sensation of fear towards someone. This extreme fear is usually accompanied by some unpleasant physical symptoms like rapid heartbeat, sweating, shaking, shortness of breath, chest tightness, or losing control. If panic attacks occur frequently and unexpectedly, that may be the sign of panic disorder, which is one of the anxiety disorders. These panic attacks one occurred to me during my first chemistry examination in matriculation. I still remember how my hands shaking and my palms are full of sweat that made me unable to hold the pen. My heart beat so fast and I could feel the tightness in my chest as I keep looking at the time. Do you know what are the thoughts that keep playing inside my mind at that time? I keep overthinking what if I fail this subject since chemistry is my weakest subject. Even if I already studied all the topic, I still felt uneasy and not confident with all my answers. Because of the panic attacks, I can't even think deeply about the answers. I just wrote everything that come through my mind at that time. After that, I realized that I might have an anxiety disorder. Last, you may be exhibiting the signs of anxiety disorder. if you find yourself avoiding any social situations. People with social anxiety usually appear extremely shy and quiet in groups or when meeting new people. They might not seem like distressed on the outside, but they would feel the utmost fear and anxious inside themselves. Social anxiety disorder also would make you worried that you may be judged or scrutinized by others, and a person with this problem would become really afraid of being embraced or humiliated in front of others. They also avoid certain social events because of this fear. This anxiety disorder will make people appear snobby and standoffish, but this disorder actually associated with low self-esteem and high self-criticism and also depression. Anxiety can be debilitating, so it is important to seek professional help if your symptoms are severe. But if you think your anxiety are not that bad, you can just find some natural ways to reduce the anxiety and help you feel more better. For example, eating a healthy diet, trying meditation therapy, or exercising more often. To summarize, the normal anxiety and anxiety disorders are completely different toward each other. Anxiety disorders are worse than the normal anxiety. Thus, it is important to find the effective ways to cope with this mental illness in order to live in a healthy life. There are many signs that can clearly show you are having an anxiety disorders. The first sign is excessive worrying. Second, having problem to fall asleep during night. Third, panic attacks. And last is avoiding social situations. As we have seen, anxiety disorders can surely bring the bad effect to our health and life. Since we already talked over this topic, I sincerely hope that people out there can realize if this mental disorder have ever occurred to them and would try to fight it. To wrap up my talk, I would quote some lyric from BTS song which called I'm Fine. The lyric that really attracted me goes like this. Even if I am in an endless dream, even if I am endlessly crumpled, even if my wings are torn, even if someday I am not me anymore, it is alright. Only I am my own salvation. That's all from me. Thank you.